In this question, let us start the law of conservation of angular momentum. And this is a very important topic for JEE Advanced problems. So, according to this law, if the net torque acting on any body about any particular axis or about any particular point is zero, then the angular momentum of that body about that same point will remain constant. We know that torque about any point is equal to dl by dt, rate of change of angular momentum. So if torque is zero about that point, then dl will be zero and therefore L will remain constant. Now, to understand this concept with better clarity, let us solve some questions which are based on law of conservation of angular momentum. In this question, there is a particle of mass 2 kg and it is moving along a straight line 3x plus 4y is equal to 5. So let us rewrite the equation of straight line as 4y is equal to 5 minus 3x and y is equal to minus 3 by 4x plus 5 by 4. So this is the equation of a straight line. Now you can draw this straight line and you can see that this straight line would be passing through the y-axis at the point 5 by 4 and it would be making an angle of 37 degree, this one, with the x-axis because its slope has a magnitude of 3 by 4. So we have to find out a particle which is moving on this line with the speed of 8 meters per second. Let's suppose there is a particle which is moving like that with 8 meters per second. So its momentum P has a magnitude of mv where m is 2 and v is 8. So mv is equal to 16. So its momentum is having a magnitude of 16 kilogram meter per second. Now we have to find out the angular momentum of this particle about the origin. So let us first of all draw a perpendicular from origin on this line. So this is the perpendicular. Okay, so you can see that this is 5 by 4 and this angle is 53 degree. Okay, so the component, let's suppose the length of the perpendicular is r. So the component of this perpendicular will be 16 into, the angular momentum will be 16 into r, which is the perpendicular distance, and therefore this is 16 into 5 by 4 sine 53. So LO will be 16 into 5 by 4 sine 53 is 4 by 5. So this is 16. So the magnitude of angular momentum of this particle about origin is 16. And if this particle is moving in the downward direction, obviously then this angular momentum would be in clockwise sense like that. And therefore, if we rotate the fingers of our right hand in clockwise direction, then the direction of angular momentum would be pointing in the negative z-axis. So if we write down this angular momentum in vector form, then it would be minus 16 k cap. Now let's move on the next question. In this question, there are two beads which are rings of same mass m, and these rings can move freely on this frictionless wire. This frictionless wire has a moment of inertia about this axis which is equal to I, and this complete system is rotated with an angular velocity of omega naught. Now when these beads are at a distance of r, when these beads are at a distance of r by 2 initially from the axis, this is given an initial velocity of omega naught. And when these beads would be at a distance of r from this axis at these points, then we have to find out the angular velocity of this system. So first of all, let us see that in this system, the net torque is 0 about this axis. So the angular momentum of this system would remain conserved, and therefore the initial angular momentum of this system will be the angular I omega. So the I would be the moment of inertia of the system about this axis. So I would have I, which is given as the moment of inertia of rod plus the moment of inertia of rings. So these rings are situated at a distance of r by 2 from this axis. Therefore their moment of inertia will be 2 m into r by 2 whole square into omega naught, which is the initial angular velocity. So initial angular momentum is equal to I plus m r square by 2 into omega naught. Now the final angular momentum will be I plus 2 mr square, because both these rings are situated at a distance of r from this axis finally, and into omega. So we can balance the initial and the final angular momentum. Therefore I omega naught, in fact this is I plus mr square by 2 omega naught is equal to I plus 2 mr square into omega. So omega would be equal to I plus mr square by 2 into omega naught divided by I plus 2 mr square. So this is the final correct answer. Now let's move on the next question. In this question, there is a disc, which is a table, which is mounted on this axle. This is free to rotate, and there are two toy guns which are situated on either side of the centers. These toy guns are massless, but they are containing bullets, which are steel balls of mass 0.05 kg each, and the distance of these toy guns from the center is 0.25 meters. Now it is given that these toy guns fires the bullets simultaneously, and the bullets moves with a horizontal speed of 9 meters per second with respect to ground. So we have to find out the velocity of this disc after the firing of bullets, and we have to find out its angular velocity. So we know first of all that the angular momentum, in fact the torque acting on the system, the external torque acting on the system is 0, because no other force externally is creating any torque on the system. So we can balance the initial angular momentum and the final angular momentum of the system. Now initially, as the complete system was at rest, so the initial angular momentum was 0, and finally when the bullets are fired, so the angular momentum of the system would be the angular momentum of the balls, which are bullets, as well as the angular momentum of the disc. Now you can see that the angular momentum of balls will be 2 mvr, where 2 is due to the fact that there are two balls which are fired on the different sides of the center and in the opposite directions. So their angular momentum would add up, because its angular momentum would be in clockwise sense and its angular momentum would also be in clockwise sense. So the total angular momentum of the balls will be twice the mass of the ball is given as 0.05 and velocity is 9, and the distance of these balls from the center is 0.25, which is 1 by 4. and this angular momentum is in clockwise sense. Now the angular momentum of the disk will be I omega, and the disk would rotate in anti-clockwise sense, obviously, because the final angular momentum should also be 0, because it is equal to the initial angular momentum. So the angular momentum of the disk would be in anti-clockwise sense. So the L disk would be equal to I omega, where I of the disk is m r square by 2 into omega, and m of the disk is given as 0.45, its radius is 1 by 2, and its angular velocity is omega, which we have to find out. So the final angular momentum would be 2 into 0.05 into 9 by 4 minus 0.45 into 1 by 4 into omega, and that would be equal to 0. So when we will solve this and we will find out the omega, then omega will come out to be 4 radians per second. So this disk would rotate with an angular velocity of 4 radians per second in anti-clockwise sense finally. Now let's move on the next question. In this question, it is given that if torque cross angular momentum for a body is 0, and tau is the resultant torque and L is the angular momentum of that body about some point, which is same for both torque calculation and angular momentum calculation, then we have to choose the correct option. Now it is given that torque cross L is 0, and this is only possible when the angle between torque and angular momentum is either 0 degree or that angle is equal to 180 degree. So this is only possible in these two cases, because any cross product has sine theta in it, and sine theta is 0 only in two cases, when theta is 0 or either theta is 180 degree. So we can say that either torque is in the direction of angular momentum, and if torque is in the direction of angular momentum, then it would increase the angular momentum, obviously, because torque is equal to rate of change of angular momentum. So if this torque is acting in the direction of angular momentum and the angle between torque and angular momentum is 0, then we can say that the torque will increase, and if this angle is 180 degree, then the torque and angular momentum are in opposite directions, so we can say that torque will decrease the angular momentum. So the option number D is also the correct one. Now let's move on the next question. In this question, you can see that there is a thin circular ring of mass m and radius r. This ring is rotating about its central axis with initial angular velocity of omega, and two masses of each of mass capital M are gently attached on this and this end of the ring, and we have to find out the new angular velocity of the ring. Now let us discuss that why the angular velocity of the ring would change. So first of all, let us see that the net torque acting on the system would be 0, because if two masses are attached on this end and this end, then their torque will cancel out each other, and therefore on the system the net external torque acting would be 0, and therefore the initial and the final angular momentum of the system would remain the same. And if we write down the initial angular momentum, then it would be the angular momentum of the ring, which is mr square into omega. And if we write down the final angular momentum, then that angular momentum would be I omega, and this I would be the moment of inertia of the ring, which is mr square, as well as the two masses are attached at this point. Let us draw those masses. Here is one mass, this is M, capital M, and this is the second mass. This is also capital M. Now if these masses are attached on these diametrically opposite points, then you can see that the distance of each mass from the center of the ring is r, and therefore the moment of inertia of any one of them is mr square. So the moment of inertia of both of them is 2mr square and into omega dash, where omega dash is the new angular velocity. Now you can see that in the initial angular momentum there was only the ring which was rotating, and finally the ring is rotating along with the two masses which are attached on its diametrically opposite points. So the moment of inertia of the system has changed, and therefore to keep the angular momentum constant, conserved, the angular velocity has to change. So we have to find out the new angular velocity, which can be calculated by equating the initial and the final angular momentum. So the initial angular momentum is mr square omega, and the final angular momentum is r square is common, and this is m plus 2m and omega dash. So cancelling out this omega, in fact r square with r square, and omega dash will be equal to m upon m plus 2m into omega. So the correct answer according to this is option number 1. Now let's move on the next question. In this video, there is a horizontal thin circular disc which is rotating about an axis which is passing through its center and perpendicular to its plane. Now there is an insect which is sitting on the rim of the disc, and that insect is initially at rest, but that insect starts to move towards the center of the ring and passes through the center, and it continues to move towards the diametrically opposite point on the diameter. So in its complete motion, when it moves from this point to this point, we have to find out that how the angular velocity of this ring would change. Now we know that the angular velocity, the angular momentum of this system will be I omega, where the moment of inertia would be I of disk as well as I of insect. Now we know that when insect is moving on this diameter, then the torque, external torque acting on this complete system would be 0. So we can say that the angular momentum would remain constant, and hence as insect is moving towards the center, so initially when, let us name the points that this is A, this is O, and this is B. So from A to O, the moment of inertia of insect would decrease because distance of that insect from the center is decreasing. So if the moment of inertia is decreasing, so to keep the angular momentum constant, omega has to increase. So omega will increase, and from O to B, the insect is moving away from the center. Therefore, the moment of inertia of the insect would be increasing, and therefore to keep the angular momentum constant, if I insect is increasing, then omega would decrease. So the correct option would be that the firstly omega will increase and then it would decrease. So the correct answer would be option number 4th. Now let's move on the next question. In this question, there is a mass, point mass, which is rotating about this point O in a horizontal circle with the angular velocity of omega, and this is z-axis. So if the angular momentum of this mass about O is denoted by LO, and the angular momentum of this mass about P is denoted by LP, then we have to choose the correct option. Now we know that the angular momentum about O will be along this direction, along the z-axis, but the angular momentum about P will be along this direction. So as this particle will be rotating, LO will remain in positive z direction, and its direction would remain constant, and also its magnitude would remain constant because omega is constant. But as the particle will move at this side, LP would be like that. So the LP is continuously changing its direction. So the correct option we can say is the one In fact, the C option, which says that LO remain constant and LP varies with time, is correct one. Now, option number A, that LO and LP do not vary with time, is wrong. Option number B, that LO varies and LP remains constant, is also incorrect. And option number D, that both varies with time, is also incorrect. So the correct answer is option number C. And if you are having some problem in this concept of angular momentum, you can go through the video in rigid body playlist, which is named as angular momentum in pure rotational motion. You would be getting that answer in that video. Now we move on the next question. In this question, you can see that there is a hollow sphere which is given a velocity of v in forward direction, as well as it is given angular velocity in anti-clockwise sense, which is equal to v upon r, where r is the radius of this sphere. Now you can see that if we talk about this point, then this point would be sliding because its velocity is equal to v plus r omega in the forward direction. So this sphere is initially sliding. So if this sphere is sliding initially, then the friction would be acting on this sphere in reverse direction to cease the sliding and to start the pure rolling. And this friction would be kinetic because sliding is occurring at this point of time. So we have to find out the translational speed of this sphere when it stops rotating in the A part. So let us solve the A part first. So let us draw that at some time this sphere has stopped rotating and it is only translating with some velocity v1. So omega is 0 at this instant of time. Now you can see that at this point B, the friction, if we extend the friction from this point to this point, then this friction is passing through point B. Therefore the torque acting on this sphere about point B will be 0, and therefore we can conserve the angular momentum about point B. So the angular momentum about B initially and the angular momentum about B finally would be equal. Now the angular momentum about B initially would be mvr. So you can see that this sphere is moving with velocity v, and therefore if we draw a perpendicular, then we can say that this perpendicular has a length of r. Now the translational angular momentum of this sphere about point B is in the clockwise sense, like that you can see, and this momentum is mvr. So this is mvr in the clockwise sense, as well as the rotational angular momentum of the sphere about its center is in anti-clockwise sense. So it is minus I omega in the anti-clockwise sense. So initial angular momentum will be mvr minus I is 2 by 3 mr square and omega is v upon r. So cancelling this r with r, so initial angular momentum is equal to 1 by 3 mvr. Now the final angular momentum about B will be only mv dash or mv1r, because in this case the sphere is only translating and it is not rotating. So if we balance these two, then we can see that v1 will be equal to v by 3. So when the sphere would not be rotating, then the speed of its center would be v by 3. And we have to also find out that what is its speed when the sphere is finally rolling purely. Now when the sphere is rolling purely, then let's suppose that its central velocity is v2 and its omega is omega 2. And obviously, as it is given that it is rolling, so v2 will be equal to r omega 2. So the angular momentum about point B finally in this case would be I omega, and I am using the concept of instantaneous axis of rotation, as this point B will be instantaneous center and this axis would be IAR. So I can directly write the total angular momentum as I about IAR or B into omega. So omega is omega 2. So the angular momentum of this sphere about point B is 2 by 3 mr square plus mr square. So this is 5 by 3 mr square. So you can see that the moment of inertia is 2 by 3 mr square about center plus mr square by parallel axis theorem. So this is 5 by 3 mr square. Okay, so this is omega 2. Now if we balance the initial angular momentum and final angular momentum of the sphere, then you can see that initial angular momentum of the sphere was this one, 1 by 3 mvr. So 1 by 3 mvr is equal to 5 by 3 mr square omega 2. So cancelling m with m and r with r, omega 2 will be equal to v by 5r. And if we have to find out the linear velocity of the center v2, then v2 will be equal to r omega 2, and therefore it is v by 5. So the correct answer is v upon 5. Now we have to also choose the correct options among them. So the option number A says that the angular momentum of the sphere about the center of mass is conserved. This is incorrect because you can see that this is the center of mass of the sphere and this friction is creating some torque about this center. So the net torque about the center is not zero. Therefore we cannot conserve the angular momentum. So option number A is not correct. The option number B says that the speed of the sphere at the instant when it stops rotating is v by 3. So we have already calculated that. Now the speed of the sphere after the pure rolling starts is v by 5. This also we have calculated. And the fourth option is work done by the friction up to the pure rolling is 0. This is incorrect because this friction is acting kinetic friction for some time because slipping is occurring. Therefore the work done by the friction would not be 0. So the correct answers are only B and C. Now let's move on the next question. In this question, it is given that there is a uniform disk of radius r which is 0.2 meters, and this disk is kept over a rough horizontal surface. This disk is given a velocity of v naught and angular velocity of omega naught in anti-clockwise sense. Now after some time the velocity of this disk would become 0 and the angular velocity of this disk would also become 0. So we have to find out the omega naught. If this happens, that after some time the kinetic energy of this disk will become 0, then we have to find out omega naught. Now you can see that the initial angular momentum of this disk is about point B is m v naught r in clockwise sense, like that, okay, and minus I omega naught in anti-clockwise sense, because this omega is in anti-clockwise sense. So the initial angular momentum is m v naught r minus I, where I is the moment of inertia of the disk about center of mass, which is m r square by 2 and omega naught. So this is the initial angular momentum. So finally, if the kinetic energy of this disk will become 0, then the final angular momentum will also become 0. So the net torque about point B is also 0, because if this point B is slipping because its velocity is v naught plus r omega naught, and therefore the friction is acting on the point B in the backward direction, but this friction is itself passing through this point B, so the torque of this friction about point B would be 0. So we can balance the angular momentum about point B. So initial angular momentum is mv naught r minus m r square by 2 omega naught, and the final is 0. So if we equate them, then mv naught r will be equal to mr square by 2 into omega naught, and cancelling this m with m, r with r. So omega will be equal to 2 v naught by r. So this is the final angular velocity. Now we know that this v naught is given as 10 and radius is 0.2. So this is omega will be equal to 100 radians per second. This is omega naught. Now let's move on the next question. In this question, this is given that a constant torque is acting on a uniform circular wheel which is changing its momentum, angular momentum, from a naught to 4a naught in 4 seconds. So the magnitude of this torque would be. So we know that the torque acting on any system is equal to the rate of change of its angular momentum dl by dt. So the torque would be equal to change in angular momentum is 4a naught minus a naught, and the time taken is 4. So the torque would be 3a naught by 4. So the correct answer would be option number C. Now let's move on the next question. In this question, it is given that a particle is moving with a constant velocity parallel to the y-axis. So its angular momentum would be, so this is y and this is x, and this particle is moving parallel to the y-axis with some velocity v. So its angular momentum about origin would be, LO would be mv into r perpendicular, where r perpendicular is the perpendicular distance of momentum vector from the origin. So this is r perpendicular. This one is r perpendicular. So you can see that this r perpendicular will always remain constant whether the particle is at this point or at this point or at this point. So the angular momentum will always remain constant. So the correct answer will be option number B. Now let's move on the next question. In this question, it is given that a sphere is released on a smooth inclined plane from the top, and when it moves down, its angular momentum will be. So when this sphere will move down, a force of mg sin theta will act on this sphere. This will be the normal reaction, and this will be the mg cos theta. So there would be no friction acting on this sphere, because friction, this inclined plane is frictionless. So we can say that the angular momentum is conserved about every point. This is incorrect, because angular momentum is not conserved about this point of contact, because mg sin theta is having some torque about this point. Now this angular momentum is conserved about point of contact only. So this is also incorrect, because angular momentum is not conserved about point of contact. Now the angular momentum is conserved about the center of the sphere only. So if we say that this angular momentum is conserved about only this point, then it would be incorrect, because it is conserved about this point, but it is also conserved about some other points. So if we draw a line like that, you can see this line. So if you write down the torque about any point on this line, then that torque would be 0. So the angular momentum about any point lying on this line would be conserved, because the mg sin theta is passing through this line, and this normal reaction is balancing mg cos theta. Therefore the net force in this direction is 0. So it would not create any torque, and the torque of mg sin theta along this line would be 0. So we can say that the angular momentum is conserved about any point lying on this line. So the correct answer is option number D. Now we move on the next question. In this question, it is given that the angular momentum of a particle about origin is L is equal to 4 root 2 t plus 8. So we can calculate the torque, because torque is dl by dt, and therefore it is 4 root 2. Now this angular momentum is given about origin, therefore torque would be also about origin. Now we have to find out the force acting on this particle. This particle is moving on this axis, this line y is equal to x minus 4. So this is a line which is starting from negative y-axis and it is moving in the upward direction. So this is minus 4 and this angle is 45 degree, you can see by that line. So this particle is moving on this line. So if we draw a perpendicular on this line, then the length of this perpendicular x would be 4, x would be equal to 4 cos 45 degree. So it is 2 root 2. You can see that this angle is 45. So if this is 4, then it is 4 cos 45. So x is 4 cos 45, which is 2 root 2. Now the torque about origin is force into x, and therefore it is equal to F into 2 root 2, and that is equal to 4 root 2. So cancelling this root 2, F will be equal to 2 newtons. Now we move on the next question. In this question, it is given that there is a horizontal disk which is rotating freely about the vertical axis, passing through the center, this axis. And there is a ring of same mass and same radius which is kept on this disk like that. So now we have to find out the new angular velocity of the system. First of all, you can see that we can easily predict that some friction would exist between disk and the ring before they achieve the common angular velocity, because the disk is already rotating, and when we will place the ring on the disk, then some friction would acting on this ring, which would start the ring to rotate, and therefore we can say that option number A is absolutely correct. Now option number B says that the angular momentum of the system will remain conserved, and obviously it is correct, because as we will place the ring on the disk, the center of mass of the ring and the disk would be at the axis of rotation. Therefore the torque acting would still remain 0. Therefore angular momentum will remain conserved. So if we write down the initial angular momentum, and that is mr square by 2 into omega for the disk, and finally the angular momentum will be mr square by 2 plus mr square, because this is the angular moment of inertia of the disk and this is the moment of inertia of the ring. So this is omega dash, which is the new angular velocity. So if we conserve the initial and final angular momentum, then mr square by 2 omega is equal to 3 by 2 mr square omega dash. So cancelling this mr square by 2 with mr square by 2, omega dash is equal to omega by 3. So this is the correct answer. So option number D is correct. So correct options are A, B and D. Now we move on the next question. In this question, there is a wheel which is considered as a ring of mass m and radius r, which is rolling without slipping on this horizontal surface with the speed v. It encounters a step of height r by 2 and it starts to ascend over this step. So we have to find out, we have to choose the correct options. Now first of all, let us draw this ring ascending the step. So this would be the diagram, and you can see that if this is the center, then if we join this, then this is r by 2 and this is r. Okay, so this angle is 60 degree. Now we can easily say that the angular velocity when the ring is ascending over the step would be about this point, and let's suppose that is omega dash. So if we conserve the angular momentum about this point O, let's suppose, because the friction would be acting on the ring at this point, therefore the torque on the ring about this point would be 0. So the initial angular momentum about O will be, this is mvr by 2. This is the translational angular momentum, because the center of the ring is moving with velocity v, and its distance from this point is r by 2. So translational angular momentum is mvr by 2 in clockwise sense, and this is the rotational angular momentum of the ring about its own center is I omega. So this is mvr by 2, and I is mr square into omega is v by r. So this is 3 by 2 mvr is the initial angular momentum of the ring about point O. Now the final angular momentum about point O is I about O into omega dash, because we are considering that ring is when ring is ascending over the step, then this ring is rotating purely about this point O with angular velocity omega dash, and therefore if we write down the final angular momentum, then LF would be equal to 2 mr square, because the moment of inertia of this ring about this point will be mr square plus mr square, which is 2 mr square into omega dash. So if we balance out the initial angular momentum and the final angular momentum, then 3 by 2 mvr is equal to 2 mr square into omega. So 3 by 2 mvr is equal to 2 mr square into omega, and cancelling this m with m and r with r, so omega will be equal to 3 by 4 v by r. So the option number A is correct, you can see. Now if we draw another diagram for the normal reaction, then at this point of time when the ring is ascending over the step, then the normal reaction would be acting like that. I am drawing that like that, and mg would be acting in this direction. Now if ring is rotating about this point with omega, then the pseudo force, which is m r omega square, would be acting on this ring in this direction, and this angle would be 60 degree. We have already discussed this angle. So this ring, the component of mg about this axis is mg cos 60, and if we balance the force about this line, about the normal reaction line, then n plus mr omega square will be equal to mg cos 60. So n plus mr omega square is 9 by 16 v square by r square, and mg cos 60 is mg by 2. So n is equal to mg by 2 minus m v square by r into 9 by 16. So the option number B is also correct. Now you can see that option number D says that friction will be absent during the ascent. This is incorrect, because when the ring would be ascending, then friction, the ring would be tending to slip in the downward direction. Therefore friction would be acting like that on the ring. And option number C says that due to when the normal reaction due to the step would be increasing when wheel will be ascending. So let's suppose if this angle is theta. So if this is theta, then this equation would be mg cos theta instead of 60. So n would be equal to mg cos theta minus this one. So this is mg cos theta. So if the ring is ascending, then theta would be decreasing, and when theta is decreasing, then cos theta will increase, and if cos theta will increase, the normal reaction will increase. So as the ring is ascending, the normal reaction would be increasing. So the correct answer will also be the option number C. Thank you.